but they didn't read it too well, and it's a turnover to the Eagles.
Nice intensity straight out of the box, so they got held up there. Heading for a subset.
Yeah, Josh McCormack sweeping onto the field here. Eagles looking to get to the middle of the field here and try and get a strike dump on the end of this.
Here we see Nathan Jones for the second time tonight. He's been very good in the Super Series. Nearly cold hands probably early on. But Jacob couldn't hold onto that ball. Good strong touch.
Young
We'll
Trent
see a few
Shaw.
stronger touches in this game than we did in the last couple.
Yeah. Young Trent Shaw here on the wing for the Raiders.
He's been an outstanding winger for these guys. In fact, in this competition, it really is down to plays on the wing and how good they are as to whether you win or lose a lot of the time. Gary, you ran around last season in the Super Series. What did you notice about playing in this competition?
Yeah, well, it's an even spread. You've obviously got the superstars in each team, but then it's all about getting the second-tier guys, the younger guys, and the youth that this competition's built for. If those guys can hold their own and give the players that are looking to win games, if they get them in the right spots, they're a chance of winning it. But you're right, there's a lot of young guys out there that play above their weight out here, that's for sure.
Matt's picked up something there. He's picked up and over the mark.
Over the mark.
Hopefully next Super Series we can get a few more of our young boys playing. Young Bailey Rob just driving the ball there. Another one of our young players.
I mean, that's the beauty of this competition. There's young kids out there that get to play with the likes of Nathan Jones and Scott Prince and the likes of that. Ralph, who's just come back from Malaysia after representing Singapore, I think it was.
Philippines.
He's got to be the most agile man I've ever seen on the touch field, Ralphie Hickman.
Yeah, he comes up with some crazy plays, that's for sure.
Super unpredictable. Must be difficult to attack with and defend against.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to read, Ralphie. I think he's got a mind of his own sometimes, but that makes it hard to defend him, doesn't it? No one knows what he's doing.
They call him the peacock. You've got to let him fly.
And Jacob Hall's going to be the danger in this game. I think he's a guy that's just coming into his
could be
own.
late pass.
Good pass there. Good timing by me, but yeah, Jacob's performing well for the Titans. Got a great left to right pass, and I mean, the more confidence he gets, the better player he's going to be.
So we're starting off with an arm wrestle here. Yeah, we've got one score so far.
Yep, 1-0.
1-0.
Another one to watch for the Eagles is Kyle Hadwin. Got the long sleeve white shirt on there. Got quite a good pass on him as well.
So he was with the Sharks mix, wasn't he, that won the NTLs?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, good player.
Now Scott Prince sending back the clock and running through the gap, getting into the end zone, not being able to connect though to get a try.
Both teams have rucked the ball quite well so far.
Now, that's why we see this, like you said, Gary, you obviously play with a lot of these players in your rep career, playing for Australia. Did you play with Nathan Jones?
Yeah, Nathan Jones played I played a couple of World Cups with Nathan, one of the truly great players, very composed and always comes up with the big plays at the right time.
There. Dave called offside.
And we're at, was it Dave or Princey called offside?
Oh, it might have been Princey actually.
Princey called offside?
Yep.
Went up to 2-0.
Bit of a shock really, the Eagles coming out so fiery early on and getting a 2-0 lead. I would have thought on paper the Raiders are probably the favourites, but Josh McCormack, Nathan Jones, those sort of guys know how to lead a team and definitely know how to play in the big games.
It's been one of the surprise packets. I mean, this competition has been extremely even, but the way the Eagles have played this season, they've built from the beginning, and certainly at the draft, I don't think Josh was particularly happy with the way his team looked on paper, but he's gone to work with these guys, and here they are in a grand final, and they're leading 2-0. It's a pretty incredible, like you say, Gary, with the talent they're playing against. It's a credit to them, and it's a credit to the evenness of the competition.
I think the best thing about Nathan Jones, he doesn't say too much, but the things he says, obviously simple, and he'd be great for these young kids, just keeping it simple. I know a lot of coaches these days and players try to overcomplicate things, but Nathan just has his 2 or 3 words, but you just think, wow, that's simple and it makes sense. And I think if these guys play a basic game plan, that they're a big chance of hanging in there right to the end and maybe getting a victory here.
Well, even at this early stage, 6.5 minutes in, the pressure's on Eagles. They're 2 down. And you go to 3 down, it becomes hard to get back.
Yeah,
Raiders down, Raiders, yep. So Davey Marr switched teams. Last year he was Eagles. It was all about the Eagles, but this year it's the Raiders. So.
I think he's just after a new uniform, to be honest with you, mate.
Needs to fill the closet. But just touching on Nathan,
nice play.
Nathan Jones, like you see, he's one of those players that people want to play for and will follow. So, and he's always one that leads by example. So,
yeah, definitely. You don't see too many sides that Nathan's in that aren't competitive. He's always able to get his team up for the big games, and I mean, if you're putting your house on someone to win you a game, you'd be throwing his name in the ring, that's for sure.
And here we have Scott Prince, so rugby league boy, playing touch again, right? Have you had a chance to play with Scott before?
Yeah, I played Mavericks with him, and he definitely, I think the best thing about Prince, he keeps himself super fit, and he's very competitive, so he loves a challenge. So let's see if he can come up with something, some plays here. I think the Raiders just need to get a bit of shape about themselves and not worry about scoring yet, just start to win a bit of field position, and I think then their chances will open up.
They've also had a very consistent season, only dropped 1 or 2 games throughout it. I think one of them was the Eagles, actually. I need to double check that result, but there we are, Jacob Ball attacking again.
We've seen that before, haven't we? We've seen that before in Super Series, teams going through undefeated and dropping the final.
Thanks for the reminder, Dave.
I think last year I was played for the Eagles.
Nice finish there by Seb.
They're in again.
3-0.
Yeah.
3-0 to the Eagles.
Yeah, I played last year with the Eagles, which is pretty much a lot of the Raiders guys swapped over with clubs, and I think we finished second on the ladder, and we played the Tigers, I think it was, and they finished 4th, and they just clicked at the right end and ended up getting a win over us in the grand final. So it's not always the top team that comes up with the win here, and I think Raiders, as I said, they were favourites before, but 3-0 down. What have we got? 8 minutes or 10 minutes gone. They're in a bit of trouble here.
And there's Dave Marr taking it on himself to get the ball at the park. So have you played with Dave?
Yeah. So again, Dave, I played State of Origin with Dave, and Mitch was in that team as well, and also played Mavericks with him. I think Dave's probably in the peak of his powers now. Whilst he's played for ages, I think this is his time now.
And first touchdown there.
Right on cue, he's put on a try there to bring the Raiders back into the game.
Well done. It was a matter of time, and Dave got out there and drove it. So it was great to see Dave get a chance to represent Australia at the World Cup. And obviously his team got over the line there, brought home the gold medal.
Yeah, well, he's obviously a guy that puts a lot of time into his touch.
Not just on his own touch, he's coaching.
Yeah, well, he's putting back into the sport, and you guys would know more than anyone at Palm Beach how much time he's dedicating to the sport, and it's good to see those guys finally get rewarded. And I think people have finally, especially now that he's jumped up to 30s, realised what a good player he is and how invested in the sport he is, and he's starting to get credit for all that sort of stuff.
Well, good second phase play here by Eagles.
He's probably
Josh
very
McCormick
lucky.
setting it up initially there as well.
It's probably a penalty.
Another mature player. I won't say old because he's not old. He's in his 30s.
And again, Josh is one of those guys as well who's
got to
someone
represent.
you always want to play alongside, and he got to represent Australia as well at the recent World Cup, and again, that's credit to him and all the time he's invested in this sport.
See what the Eagles have got to offer here. Nathan pulling the strings here.
It's a big set, isn't it? You wouldn't want to be going down 4-1 at this stage.
Chris Taff on the sweep. Saw Chris in that mixed Div 1 grand final before, playing for Old School.
Had a very good game. Yeah, they didn't get the win.
Is another representative out of that Sharks mixed open team that won NTL.
Lucky to get away with that touch, I think.
I think that was I probably would have given a penalty there for a hard touch, but she's just called pick it up and play it again, which is a bit unusual, but
She may have missed it, I think.
Yeah, might not have seen the contact, but speaking of our referees, just briefly, so our men's Super Series here, we have Ricky Best, player turned referee. He's doing a very good job refereeing. And Matt Butler and
Danny L. Nunn.
Danny L. Nunn. Thank you very much, Dave, for reminding me of what I was about to forget.
It's good to see a player like Ricky Best, who's represented Australia decided to, and I think New Zealand as well. He doesn't know which country he's from, but it's good to see him putting refereeing. And I think from a player's perspective, it probably helps because they know what the players are looking for and what to expect, and that's what the strength of Ricky
He's used all the
is.
dirty tactics that they're using out there before.
Yeah, he knows them all.
Still having her own round too, Ricky. I think he did last season. I'm not sure about this season, but
He was a quality mixed player back in his day, that's for sure.
see both Matt and Daniel represented Australia at the World Cup as well. Got the opportunity to travel to Malaysia. Yeah.
So it's a pretty big thing for Palm Beach, isn't it? You look around this game and every second person you're naming has represented Australia or Queensland or New South Wales at the highest level. So that's testimony to Palm Beach and all the work they're putting into their juniors and events like this Super Series.
And in most cases, those that haven't yet are on the way up. You know, you look at the younger players out here that are representing Sharks and heading into Queensland teams. Completions here are an issue, and their Raiders have copped up the ball again, not finishing a set.
Yeah, I think they're chasing the clock a little bit here, or they're chasing the scoreboard, I should say, a little bit here. They probably just need to settle down and as I said before, play for a bit of field position and get a little bit of momentum back, and the tries will come from that.
Get into the grind a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
They've still got a long time on the clock. There's still 6.5 minutes in this first half.
There we go, step back, long ball.
Jacobs.
Oh, we're going back for the penalty.
I think she could have maybe played a little bit longer
there
there to
was a
see.
forward pass off the ruck there. I heard the other far side referee calling that out of it, so maybe they'd come back for the first infringement. But,
Fair enough.
Being described, Dave is rightly asking some questions and getting the explanations. He may not like them.
Oh, you've got to ask. You've got to question the refs. It's like the Sri Lankan cricket team, you know. They've got to appeal.
Great
Winger
touch
might have
there.
got great touch.
Trent Shaw making that touch. The winger
Trent, so there's another young player stepping up big time. That's a great winger decision to make that touch.
Trent played NYC last year for Sharks and will maybe get a chance again this time.
And then they get the ball back. So Trent, that's on you. Well done.
A little bit of miscommunication there.
I'll tell you what, Jacob Hall's looking dangerous here, left to right passing. Seems to be hitting the link a lot of times, which is putting pressure on the winger, and I'm sure he's going to throw a few link passes and then eventually hit that winger once the link's been drawn into hitting that link each time.
There's a push. That was Jacob.
That's a coach killer there. That
Was that Jacob?
That was Josh McCormack, I think.
was it?
No,
That-
it was Jacob.
Was it Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob. He got away with a couple early, but Ralphie knows how to make those look good, and it was definitely a hard touch.
I think that was the fourth touch.
That
as
was
well.
from Ralph's soccer days there. He just helped the referee make the decision.
Shoot from the link, well done defensively, and they didn't execute the extra pass.
It's pretty early in the tackle count too then, I
Yeah,
think.
could have just held it.
Ralph, we all know Ralphie as a touch player, but he also has a hidden talent as a very good dancer, apparently. Yeah.
That footwork.
Yeah.
That footwork would be good. Oh, here we go.
Great physio too. He does a lot of work with the Australian teams and the Queensland teams as well. And
Both him,
Called on here a number of times to
yeah,
use his skills.
both him and Zara get involved, which is fantastic.
Jonesy's been off for a bit here, so I bet he's got a little trick up his sleeve here. Be nice and fresh.
They have a very good left to right attack, don't they, here with Jacob and Jonesy, a traditional left to right passer. Jacob bringing against the grain there, and Princey putting the shoulder charge up.
Yeah, nice hit. Probably one of the better tackles Prince has made in his career, actually.
When you look across Eagles, they actually have quite a good mix for their passing game. They've got, as you said, the two left-handers, and then you've got Kyle Hadwin
Talking about coach
with the right hand, and Chris Taff, who can throw a pass as well.
Very good point, Dave. Being a coach killer's dropping the ball, early touch counts, trying to get to the box. Not a great pass there, but that's going to hold the ball.
Not a bit of a knife's edge too. It's 3-1 still, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
It hasn't been. Eagles haven't scored for a while, so
4-1's going to be
I want to
tough
see
to come
Chris
back.
Taffy close to the line.
Well done
good
there.
touch
Referee on the
there.
game on field 5 with the injury. Please move the game to field 7. Field 6, is it 5? Yeah, game on field 5, move to field 7 please. Game on field 5, move to field 7.
Good.
Incorrect
On the
play, the
roll
ball here,
Incorrect
yes.
roll ball, go step over the ball. It's one of the rules. Doesn't get pulled up very often.
Tigers. Tigers have, Raiders have defended that set. With Steve Murray going down the sideline.
I've put $10 on Steve Murray getting the double tonight, so I hope he starts firing soon. Haven't seen many long balls, or we haven't really seen. Oh, it's a little bit forward.
And the referees are all on top of it as well.
Daniel's got that one.
I don't really. The Raiders haven't given themselves any field position here. Like when you look at it, they haven't had many cracks on the line, and I think if we looked at completion rates, they're not really completing as many as they should to give themselves a good opportunity to come back in this match.
It's like we were saying before, they just need to complete their sets and build a bit of momentum.
Let's get some grind going. Now 3 minutes to go in this half. It's a critical time for the start of this game, obviously.
Yeah,
well done.
I'll tell you what, the refs are picking up everything tonight. Again, a little bit crooked and a little bit of a knock-on in the ruck, and between the two of them, they picked that up. So well done, refs.
That was good communication from Matt to Danny to make sure she saw that. This would have been a quick word.
See if Raiders can get something going here.
It's a Princey Dave combination. I think they've played every
another
season.
forward, another incorrect roll ball.
Incorrect roll ball.
Well, Princey's been travelling a lot with work, so maybe him and Dave haven't been practicing their combinations like in previous years. That was a very sloppy. I think that was only the second or third touch, and for those two experienced guys to be not playing it straight in the middle of the field.
I think it was a stepping over the ball issue, that call. And when you're trying to get the advantage.
These refs are on fire tonight. Again, another forward pass and beautifully picked up.
You mentioned a good point here, Gary, or you raised something. So we see this trend, particularly at nationals and places like that, where they try and coach the referees to let the game flow. But we don't want the referees to make a decision about what rules to blow when. We want them to blow the rules.
Well, if you throw a forward pass, it's a penalty, as simple as that. So it shouldn't be let the game flow. It's up to the players to get those passes backwards so the refs don't have to make the call.
Fix your technique, fix your timing, execute properly. There's no whistle blowing. So well done to the refs for blowing this up.
So even though all the mistakes Raiders have made at this point,
they're not out of it yet.
They get a try here. It's they're well and truly in the game.
Chance here for Dave. He's turned Josh inside out there.
They won't catch Chris. He's lightning fast.
Ouch.
Trent's giving the chase, but that is unlucky.
That could be a turning point, Dave.
Very much.
Turning point.
Well, it's not over yet, so the boys have to keep their heads up. And he's not happy, Dave.
Commentator's curse.
Commentator's
curse. It's pretty consistent.
But Chris doesn't get in that channel, and the ball finds the Raiders player on the outside there. They score, and
we've seen the first two games at least we saw intercepts thrown, but they kept chucking the ball to the tallest man on the field. This time it was the shortest, but the quickest, no doubt.
He's probably got the highest vertical leap out of anybody out there, I'd reckon. Chris is very explosive.
Very explosive.
They need one right here.
They do.
Pass to the winger.
Steve Murray doesn't quite make it.
Oh, Steve, you're meant to get a double, mate. You're killing me.
20 seconds. A touch was made, though. They're going to get another crack at this. So what is the play? Princey, what are you going to call?
Well, you got Jonesy and Jacob Hall defending that side, so I'd be coming back this way if I was them. Picking their best two defenders to run at. Probably not a wise choice.
Eagles are in no rush. Eagles are in no rush.
All right, let's have a look at the half-time score. It is 4-1. 4-1 to the Eagles, who are perhaps upsetting the Raiders. Let's talk about the Eagles first. What have they done well? Dave and Gary, what have they done well?
I think they've probably had the least mistakes from the two sides, and even though both sides have turned over a lot of ball, they've probably had the better of the field position and capitalised on that. They got those couple of early tries straight out of the box, which probably caught the Raiders by surprise. But I think they're working well as a team, Eagles, and Raiders are probably just that half a step behind at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree, Dave. They're definitely working better as a team. They seem to know who their workers are and who their strike players are. So obviously when Jonesy comes on, everyone knows that he's going to direct them around. And I think they're going to Jacob Hall a lot of the times with his left to right ball. Whereas watching the Raiders, it's a bit hard to work out what they're trying to set for at the moment. And they probably need to, as you said, get some field position and look for their strike players. And I think they've got to stop watching the clock. It looks to me like they're trying to score at every opportunity without actually giving themselves some momentum and earning the opportunity to have a go for a try.
So we've seen a trend in the other games we've seen tonight, right? That the team that starts fastest has won the games, haven't they? Right. So they've got to wait at early starts. So this will be interesting to see whether the Raiders can actually peg this back.
I think the Raiders have got the players to peg it back, but in saying that, the Eagles have got Nathan Jones in their team, and he knows how to play from in front, and he'll be telling these guys basics. If you keep getting the ball to the other end of the field and make them go 70 metres each time, it's going to eliminate their opportunities.
I'd like to see the Raiders just play off some momentum. Like, just get their drive going and just play off some momentum and trying to set up set plays. Just look for that drive and scoop and that repeat set, and then play off that repeat set if they can.
Yeah, exactly right. Their completions have been really low for the Raiders, and I think that's the only way that they're going to get back into the grind is actually start completing some sets, put some pressure on, keep them down in their own end.
Well, it's all in front of the Raiders to do into the second half, trailing by 3. We're about to start, 30 seconds away. Before we do, www.palmbeachtouch.com. Get on their website, make sure your team is ready to go for our next season starting late July. Look at our Super Series registrations as well. Big Super Series coming up, $99 Super Series. Pretty amazing offer to get and play against Australian, Queensland state players. And you can see there, not everyone is those representative players. We have our up-and-coming talent out there too. Come out and test yourself against the best. PalmBeachTouch.com.
Yeah, and I'd recommend to everyone in the area to, if you're wondering about coming and playing, definitely give it a show, because Palm Beach Touch is very welcoming to all newcomers, and they can get you in a good side, and your touch can improve dramatically by being able to play with some of the greats of the game.
We even welcome New South Wales people, don't we, Gary?
Yeah, well, I got penalised about 75 times in the game last year, so I've had to sit this season out so they forget who I am. And now that I've got new Queensland number plates, I'm hoping that next series I won't get penalised as much. But yes, they are very welcoming, Palm Beach.
That's just scores being settled from your old days at MTL. All those referees you upset all those times. But anyway.
Well, it's reputation, isn't it? If you keep chatting, you're going to get penalised sooner or later.
There's a little whisper going around GS7 that the Cronulla Sharks could be making an appearance as the Super Series team.
Cronulla Sharks, wow. Well, we've only won one comp in 50 years, so I'm not sure I'll join that team. I don't think I've got time to hang around until we get a premiership.
So here we have the Raiders attacking early, set. Second half's underway.
Oh,
Dave's asking for a penalty,
he
and
gets
got
it,
and
dropping
they had a chance
early.
to score if we should have probably let that one play.
yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if Touch does a bit of a rule where they, a bit like Union, where they let the pass go and they yell out advantage or something and just see what happens.
We're supposed to let the advantage play.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed
But
to
it
do.
is a bit of a grey area, I guess, and the ref just has to make a quick decision, and that's what Ricky Best did.
Davey Moore on the sweep there.
A bit
Hit the
short,
ball.
I
I can't see
think.
that left hand from here.
No, he's
Pretty hard to
Short
get
the
through
line.
Nathan Jones.
shorter line. Nathan made the line there, and Dave fancies himself against the.
Again, I kind of wonder why they're running at Nathan. Like, I'd be trying to pick a more inexperienced player to attack.
You know, you got Mike Phillips playing in the link here for Eagles, who is a specialty winger, Titans winger, playing in the link. You know, they probably maybe look to attack his side of the field a little bit more.
And again, we saw a sloppy pass. It seems they're in a hurry to score, and they don't need to be. 20 minutes is a long time in touch, and we've said it plenty of times so far. Get in the grind. Don't worry about scoring just yet. The tries will come once you build the momentum.
Let's see if they can. Question marks over that pass. The referee's clear it. Let's
They
see if they can
cleared
keep
it.
in the grind
They
here.
looked
Last
at each
touch. Jacob steps back, goes long.
See that? It's better defence. And again, Eagles didn't really go forward there. They're making Jacob scoop from, what is that, 35 out?
Yeah, long way out. You can do that each time. You
Go a long way to get yourself back in the game.
win the field battle, and that's going to hurt the Raiders.
Forward pass from the ruck
Pass
there.
off the ruck.
And I got to tell you, it was pretty close to being forward. So, again, the 1%ers, like, there's no need on the first touch to be that close to the ruck and giving these refs a chance to penalise. You take a step back, get a bit deeper, and give that dummy half some time to pick it up and find you.
Raiders have done all the hard work in defence and then turn it over on the second touch.
A little bit too eager.
Yep. Rooster play here. Chris Taff.
Nice pass, and the winger was caught in no man's land.
They brought it back for a forward pass.
I tell you what, they're lucky to get away with that
Absolutely.
because you had Benny Alphabet and the other middle both calling stay out, but the winger did wander in a little bit there.
Yeah, was in, and probably in fairness to him, his link was also heading in at the time. So, you know, as a winger, you get the cue off your link, and if your link starts heading in, well, you're sort of obliged to come in with him.
I'd like to see them go directly down the middle. A lot of they're running the subset too often, and it's putting. Look at this, they're 35 out.
Oh, you got to get the repeat set there. And a penalty.
Might have a word to the Raiders. Raiders, let's go a little bit direct down the middle, guys. A bit more direct down the middle, please.
Coach GS from the top. I'm not sure he's very much.
Well, Dave's going to come home tonight. He's not going to talk to me for a week if they lose this, so let's hope they can come back. He cooks the dinner at home, and I'm afraid I won't be eating for a week. It'll be Macca's and KFC for the rest of the week.
Been lots of touch talked about in that household, Gary.
I try to eliminate. It's quite funny, actually. Dave's, as I said before, at the...
Did he get there? Oh, he's got there.
That's a
Chris
great
Taff.
touch.
It's very quick across
Dave's
the
at the
green.
peak of his powers, so he's obviously fully into it, where I'm at, you know...
You've been there.
I'm done, so I'm a bit like, look at him like, wow, you love it, but then I think, well, that was me when I was that age as well. So, you know, it's a sport that you have to invest a lot of time in to get to the top level, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing at the moment.
Are you noticing a speed difference between these two teams out there? I mean, the Eagles look fast.
The Eagles are just going forward.
Yep.
They're going forward,
They're
yeah.
just rocking.
Like,
And they're
look at that,
rocking.
they're on the line here, gives Jacob a chance for his left to right.
Well done, Ralphie.
Missed him. Oh.
And that's just all off momentum. It's all off momentum, no set play, just pick up and run.
And again, like I said before, a lot of people make the game complicated now with set moves, but that was just drive, give a guy with a good left to right pass an opportunity, and if he's good enough, he'll convert. And probably a poor defence there, and they should have made the touch. But again, he gives Jacob Hall a chance, and Jacob Hall makes the most of it.
And he finds his strike player.
So in the women's game, Dave, last game we talked about the coach in front needing to keep his team calm.
Yep.
But really here it looks like it's the Raiders that need to get some calmness back about what they're doing.
Yeah. They just need to complete their sets
Winger.
and take their opportunities when they come. You know, we see Raiders, you know, attacking the line, dropping the ball, turning the ball over. But you know, this set of six here is where they need to use their whole set of six, and sequence the Eagles a little bit, and instead of trying to score off every play. County's play here for Dave. It's not on. Just reset and go again.
So you got the calming influence of Nathan. He didn't bite at all then, so they ran a play and he didn't even bite, so the play just didn't happen. So I think they definitely need a
penalty here.
Quick tap.
Yep.
Dive, boy. That's smart play from Dave.
Keep it calm, Dave.
Raiders get one back there. But the difference there to their other attacks is they took their time, they used their touches, they got the Eagles to get up off the line and got the penalty and got the try in the end.
Plenty of time left, 12 and a half minutes. We're a 3 touchdown game. 3 touchdown game.
5-2.
You know, this level with these players, 3 touchdowns is not a lot.
Possibly just dropped another 5 degrees.
It feels that way.
So the other thing I've noticed too is that the Eagles are only playing with 3 subs, which means their go-to players are on the field a lot more. They're having to spend a lot more time on. So Jacob Hall, Nathan Jones, and a couple of the mixed boys are out there for long periods of time. So every time you look up, there's quality defenders in front of you.
What do you think about that at the end of this game? How will that
Well,
play out?
again, I'd say if I was the Raiders, I'd be going knocking down the front door and going through the middle of the field to try and take away the legs of these guys who don't have many subs.
So it's a full complement on the Raiders side, 8 subs. Sometimes having that many subs can play against you, hey? If you
Yeah, well, it can't 100% because you've got to tick the subs over, and that means the main players aren't having as much time on the field. But again, that's what this Super Series is all about, bringing in the young kids. And whilst everyone's here to win, a lot of these guys are here to make the younger players better players, and that's only going to happen by exposing them in the big games.
The Raiders have got a good strike dump here. I think the long ball was on then.
Thought he would have gassed him short side then, to be honest.
It was open on the short side.
Then very calm by Nathan there.
Yeah,
Very
taking
calm.
his time. Making sure everyone knows their roles. And Bailey, Rob there making a touch, trying to take the momentum away from the Eagles.
I thought the referee was looking the wrong way, but no, he got it.
Do you think it went a metre, but?
He bobbled it.
Oh,
Yeah, he bobbled
yeah,
it.
fair enough.
So the Eagles here now, the Eagles need to pick up their rucking there. The last probably 3 or 4 times they've come off their line, they've been lucky to get past halfway.
Oh,
He was
I
going.
don't think he was expecting that,
He
man.
was not.
That's off the mark.
Off the mark.
See, I think, again, like, Scott should have just taken that forward, then let Wyndham get off, and they put the young kid on the wing under pressure then, when he shouldn't have even had the ball in his hand.
So let's see Eagles rucking set here. Two good rucks to see. Now they're going direct, not going to their box.
And you got guys like Josh McCormack who are going to go forward all day for you, and that's exactly what they need with a 5-2 lead.
So now you
Good talk from Ralph on defence there, but they've still got through. That's going to be, that's, full credit to Eagles here. They're playing a good brand of touch, like you said, direct.
Oh, very
Moving forward.
very smart. Just
Simple.
See, Ralph was trying to get the defence across. He told them to go early, and they didn't move across.
But I will say, and I'll go back to the mistake
Yeah.
on just over halfway. It was second or third touch. The Raiders just shouldn't have been giving them that field position. They should have been attacking the Eagles' try line there and possibly getting a try and getting it back to 5-3. But all of a sudden we're blown out to 6-2. Is that correct?
Yes. 6-2 on the score sheet, and here Raiders really need to score off this set. Scott. Oh, well held. Nice pass.
I'm going to call it, if they don't score here, it's over. If it isn't
Might
already.
have been another short side opportunity. There you go.
So young Zach Hudson in the yellow hat there making the touch in the middle. One of our former
Good play.
junior players.
So we've got our game sort of back on.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them. I'd like to see Dave stand up here. You can see that the 2 tries that they've scored have been through the smarts of Dave. I just think that he needs to get his team to get him to the try line and give him a couple of cracks and see if they can now put the pressure back on the Eagles, who have led convincingly for the entire game. See if it gets them nervous. With not how long we got on the clock?
8 minutes.
8 minutes. It
20
is
seconds.
It is a long time. Again, they got to make the Eagles start sweating here, because the Eagles would have thought for this long periods of the game that they're in front by 2 and 3, and they'd be thinking they're home. And let's just see if they can get within 2 if it makes the Eagles a bit nervous.
I'll be surprised if you see Dave sub at all here.
There's a great pass.
Oh, that's a killer.
That's going to be a touchdown.
That's a killer. Oh,
We ain't got to it.
what's the
It's
call
a
going
try.
to be?
It's a try.
It's
Did they
down.
make the touch?
Clearly down.
It's a try. The referees have conferred it's a try.
Would it have been forward if the winger hadn't touched it?
No, I don't think so. I think the
No.
pass is good from my
It was good. Was it
vantage point
going
halfway.
Was it going to get to the winger?
Yes, it was going to get to the winger. Yes, you're going to see this live here now on the delay. We've got the delayed feed here, so we're about to have a look at this lovely rip ball.
Oh, it would have
and
got to him.
Would have got to Kurt on the wing.
Yep.
Kurt Stevens, new to touch Kurt, rugby union player, incredibly fast for a big guy as well.
I'm sure he'll be enjoying the experience of playing in a Super Series final.
Yeah. Playing with Kurt in our
Oh, Jones. Nathan Jones with a bit of a
bit of gamesmanship.
gamesmanship
Yeah,
there.
you see how smart he is. He's
He
under
knew he
pressure,
was-
so
he
he
knew
just
he was
got
out
tangled
of-
up in the rough to give away the penalty.
Knew he
rather
was
than
out of
try.
position there.
He's laughing about it now
Yeah.
too.
Interesting play the ball there, Ralph.
Well protected.
Awkward.
Well, moving forward. There's a couple of Eagles here that can get a bit fiery. Nathan's not one of them though. Normally, you don't see him firing up there.
He knows when to talk and when not to. It's very experienced.
He's got control out there. What's that?
Well, Dave trying to milk the penalty here, but referees are having nothing of it.
This is where it's advantage to have quality referees, but also quality referees that have played a lot like Ricky, because they do understand the nuances and the trickiness that can go on.
Yeah, they know when gamesmanship comes in and when players are trying to milk penalties.
Oh, great link hole there.
Now we do have a game on with 6 minutes to go.
So hit back there by the Raiders. Great ball there from
7-4, 6
David
minutes
Moore.
to go. Again, it's about these guys giving Dave quality field position and giving him an opportunity to see if he can pick this Eagles side apart.
So we got Van and Dean West.
You'd like to back him to get a stop here with those two guys defending in the middle and Prince at link, Steve Murray on the wing. I'd be going right to left here if I was the Eagles and testing this young kid on the wing.
If they get a stop here, it's important that they get a good ruck set.
It is a
Pull one back down their throat.
Here
we go. Over by the Eagles.
I was about to say how good their setup is here, because they've got the right to left over there and Chris, they've got Jacob to left to right.
But it's good to see that the refs giving us a close finish that we're after.
What do they say? Good refs don't let the game go to a drop-off.
It's only fitting last game or not we get there to the drop-off.
Oh, how's that in the Shepherd? Yeah, Princey's running around behind his own player there.
I'm not sure why he put his hand up for the last set. I think it was clearly a Shepherd, and it's a good decision in the end by the refs. They've been good tonight, the refs, I think. That's unusual for me to say that.
I think this is the first time we've ever heard Gary say that. It's on tape and it's on YouTube, so that'll be cut up in New South Wales and posted all over the internet for years to come.
You're just trying to get a couple of brownie points for next season, aren't you?
Yes, trying to.
It is different when you're looking at the game from up here though than when you're a player.
Yeah, 100%. Or you're caught in the emotion of the game, and I'm sure these Raiders guys are. Every 50-50 they need to go their way at this stage, so they're going to be putting the pressure on the refs to make sure that happens.
We are seeing a little bit, and it may be late, but we're seeing a momentary shift here, right? We've seen the Eagles cough up the ball at the end of their sets, and now we're seeing the Raiders go forward.
Yeah. Still going a little bit too sideways for my liking.
Yeah, 100%. Prince should have been in way tighter than him just hitting it up the middle to get to this try line.
The strike dump's still way too far out. Yep. He's too easy to defend there for the Eagles. That momentum out of the box just wasn't there.
Again, as you said, Dave, they're not getting to the right parts of the field to give their ball players a chance. Like, you're not under much pressure 25 metres out as a defender.
Yep. Good talk there from Benny Alphabet.
And great play by the young winger.
Listen,
to tread and give his link a chance to help him out.
Once again, the Eagles not really rucking the ball that well. Get a strike here for Jacob on the left to right again.
They're going to compete. Ralphie looks to hit, and
Oh,
there's 6 to go.
again.
But it was nearly the intercept. That was close.
Princey had white line fever.
But it's great play again from the Eagles. Like, Jacob Hall's obviously the man with the hot hand, and they keep finding him.
Yeah.
They're not putting any pressure on him either. They're just giving
letting him a chance to run.
Giving him time just to pick his option. Got to get up and put some pressure on him.
Sure, Nathan will wind the clock down. He'll make sure he uses as much time as he possibly can with this set of 6. I don't think they need to score here. They just need to let the clock tick a little bit. Let's see if they can get the 6 touches out.
Yep, good. Yep, Jacob not pushing the pass there.
2.5, 2 minutes 30 to go. We're still at 7-4, so it's
Is that
a big
the fat
ask now.
lady in the background singing, Dave?
I think she's warming up her vocals.
If they score off this set, it's already
Good read there by Steve Murray. Last touch coming here. They kill it on the far wing.
Yeah, that's not a bad play.
Yeah. Raiders have got to go the distance. Oh, penalty for throwing the ball away.
Get past.
He's gone for the big Benji Marshall step there, Steve, and it's put him over the mark. So That's not going to help the Raiders.
That's the game there, unfortunately. So,
It's not going to help your $5 bet, mate.
Yeah, Steve Murray with a double. Probably. Can I change it, Mitch, or is it too late to change
have
it?
we had any? Minute and a half to
Can
go.
I cash out?
No cash out.
A minute and a half to go. Eagles are going to win this, and they deserve to win it. And what we've seen so far, just describe for us, Dave and Gary, what they've done and executed well again, so we can see. Here's the.
I think for the Eagles, they've played well as a team. They've probably got a little bit more strike across the park, and they've executed that well. Obviously, Nathan has played a big role in controlling what they're doing and making sure that things are calm and they're not overplaying their hand, and they've played as a team. So the Raiders have probably tried a little bit too hard and to try and find their strike players early on, and it didn't quite come off. And
the pressure of that slow start, so that 2 touchdowns down, heading to 3 touchdowns down, hard to recover from at this level.
It's quite funny because what you're saying, Dave, is pretty much what we said at half time. They just haven't completed their sets and given themselves decent opportunities on the line. Ralphie right on cue with a bit of action-packed play.
Yeah.
So can I ask you guys, the Eagles, where did they actually finish at the end of the Super Season series?
We'll look that up. We'll get the stats guy and look that up. They were equal top.
Okay, so they've been one of the most consistent performers of the year. Yeah?
And they've had some injuries, and as you can see. Congratulations, the Eagles, to winning that. They've only played this game with 3 subs.
Yeah, which is a great effort.
They've had quality up there, but they have had.
Any draw matches, referees, raise your hands. Any draw matches, referees, raise your hands.
I don't know if you guys do a man of the match, but I'd probably say Jacob Hall was the standout in that match as far as he was the go-to player. Obviously, they had Nath Jones, who you'd always predict the Steeries team around, but I think Jacob Hall was probably the difference tonight.
I think so. Chris Taff had a good game as well. I thought contributed when he needed to, and
it's a very good attacking strategy. They've got the right-hander and the left-hander. You've got both sides of the field you can attack from. You can't stack your defence one side or the other. Very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I want to say that the Eagles
Please make their way upstairs as soon as
also
possible,
let their
please,
team
for the
down. They finished when they had
presentation.
to, and their
Thank
defensive
you.
shutdowns were very good as well.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree that Jacob was probably just got the votes, and I think it's probably just over Chris. And then I actually think
Josh McCormack.
Josh McCormack.
Josh McCormack, yeah.
What are we going to say about Josh, Mitch?
Josh McCormack, just with his wrapping up the field, he's done all the hard work up the field. Really set a platform for guys like Jacob to come out of half and that.
Yeah.
But
They laid the platform, didn't they? Jonesy was part of that too. So
Yeah.
Nathan and Josh, that they got the younger boys in there to drive, but they actually did go well, very direct up the field.
A good team performance.
I don't want to put a negative spin on it, but I was pretty disappointed with the Raiders' game plan tonight, to be honest with you. Whilst the Eagles were really, really good, I don't think the Raiders played to their potential and actually put them under pressure at any stage in the game. I mean, the Eagles always seem to have that 3-try jump, and every time they needed a stop, the Raiders, they just leaked another try.
Yep. The intercept in the first half from Chris Taff was probably a telling try for the give. In the end, it was 3 touchdowns, but you take that one out,
Gets a bit closer.
Gets a bit closer. Could have been a different game.
So all in all, boys, the Super Series, were you guys happy with the way it went, and are you excited for next year's tournament?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's for the club and for the association. It's just been a great initiative. It's now 7 seasons in, heading into our 8th. The calibre of play we've been able to develop in that short period of time. It's only 4 years. It's 8 seasons, but it's 4 years, 3.5 years. We've seen a marked improvement in particularly our younger rep players getting a look at these sorts of plays.
Yeah.
And you've got to give a big praise to the likes of Nathan Jones and Dave Marr and Scott Prince and Benny Alphabet and Ralph, who keep turning up each year knowing that one of their jobs is to develop these young kids, and it's great that those guys are putting back into the sport and making your club stronger and stronger.
Well, if we don't have those guys turn up, we don't have a Super Series at the end of the day, because we need those players to spread across our teams to make it a stronger competition.
And I notice up here you guys are doing, is it the Affiliates Cup or the Queensland State Cup? They're
State Cup.
enforcing, so that'll be great for the Palm Beach Club as far as all these guys who are playing down here in the Super Series will actually get to represent your club in the senior divisions rather than just the juniors that it currently is.
Something that New South Wales have had for a long time, and we're looking forward to Queensland re-establishing it and seeing if we can do the same thing. Because I've participated in New South Wales State Cups. You've played them all, Gary, just about, haven't you?
Yeah, I've played probably 20 years or 25 years.
It's
can't
a
really
great
remember,
tournament,
but
we're missing out up here in Queensland.
yeah,
without it,
100%. And there's so many people in Queensland that love touch, and they have all these cash comps on all around the place. And I just think that it's something that definitely needs to come on the Queensland calendar.
It had to start somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
Even if they only get 20, 30 teams or whatever it is, it's got to start somewhere and build from there.
So let's wrap it up this evening, and thanks very much, guys. Mitch, Alexander, Dave Parker, Gary Zonda, myself, Matthew Gilbertson. Thank you for listening in and watching. This will be up on our YouTube channel this evening, along with all our other games. Field 1 on Monday nights is live streamed or put onto YouTube every week. Thanks for joining us at Palm Beach Touch for this season. www.palmbeachtouch.com. Get on, register your team for next season. Join our Super Series competition. We'll see you at the end of July. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. Good job, eh?